This is Republican State Rep Kat Cammack, and last year she was pregnant, and then she got some devastating news. She found out that she had an ectopic pregnancy, and not only was she at risk to lose the ability to have children in the future, she was also at risk of dying. Good news is there are steps that could be taken. There's drugs she could take that would end that already not viable pregnancy and spare her life. And so, of course, she expected that to happen. The only problem is she's in Florida, and the 6-week abortion ban had just taken effect. And doctors were like, I don't know if we can do that. I'm not sure with this new law in place. If we can do that, I don't want to lose my license or go to jail. And she sprang into action. No, that can't happen to you. I was a supporter of this bill. I know what's in it. See, I'm good to go. You can do it to me. And they're like, I don't know. I got to look into it. And then she even went as far as to call the governor's office late at night, but no one picked up because it was the middle of the night. Fortunately, within a few hours, doctors made the decision to go ahead and administer and take the risk, and her life and her fertility were spared. But that had to be a scary experience. This is something that we've been concerned about women all across the country with bans like this having to deal with. So obviously, when this happened to her, and she did this interview in the Wall Street Journal, obviously, she talked about her personal experience and how these laws can create issues and put women's lives at risk, right? Wrong. That's not what she did. What she did instead was not fault the Florida law for her experience. Instead, she accuses the left of scaring medical professionals with messaging, and that's why this happened. Because of the left. The left caused that. The left didn't scare those doctors. Your poorly written bill did. Okay? Attorneys got on the internet and started talking and saying, hey, I looked at this bill, and if I'm representing a doctor and this doctor contacts me and says, how much exposure do I have with this? I say the problem is that it says some things are okay and some things aren't, but it's not real clear on the language. It doesn't define it well. So if we're just talking about limiting your risk as much as possible, I'd say don't do any of the procedures. That's the advice that attorneys were being forced to give their clientele who are medical professionals. Like, if they feel like railroading you and going after you, it feels like they kind of could with this. But even with that set aside, can we talk about one more element of this that Kat is failing to acknowledge? Her level of privilege in that situation. Okay? She was able to confidently tell these doctors, you're not going to get in trouble. I'm a state representative. Like, I got your back. I was a part of this. I understand. She was able to pull it up and look at it and start talking about it line by line. I don't know if the average woman going through that would think to do that or would even be listened to when they tried to do that. And then she called the governor's office. I mean, that's a nice move to have. If she had waited till morning, someone would have been there to answer. The average woman experiencing this can't just call the governor's office. She got to live. She got to move on, get pregnant again, and have a child. A luxury that isn't afforded all of the women who have a similar experience to hers. And instead of acknowledging that and saying, let me work to make that better, let me at least work to change the language to make it clearer so doctors don't have to worry, she just blames the left. There are women who have literally died because of laws like this in states around the country. And all she can do, instead of standing up for women and being like, this was a terrible experience, I have to make sure no one experiences this, she's just going to toe the company line like a good little soldier.